Welcome back to Sacred Success Salon, where we are speaking with our guest experts about how to lead and thrive right now as an awakened leader. I'm your host, Anna Kowalska, and today it is my delight and pleasure to introduce you to and welcome our speaker, Katrine Horn. Welcome, Katrine.
Thank you so much, Anna, for having me.
It's so amazing to have you back in a salon. You and I had a conversation about 2 years ago when everything was changing in the world, and it was just so delightful to be in a space with you that I was just excited that you are a yes to the conversation now, 2 years later, seeing where we're going as humanity and creating our next version of what life gets to deliver. So great. So let me just introduce you really quickly to the audience so they know who you are. And you guys, the bio is right below the video, so you can check out more about Katrine. She leads women to live by design rather than by default. Never perfect, yet always delightfully genuine. So good. Using all their gifts and talents, even the ones they never knew they had. Passion, love, joy, and success are the result. So amazing. And I love this part of your bio too. You are committed to showing up at your best, whether it's having tea with a friend or doing a TED Talk. It's so good. You know, Katrine, so you guys, I'm going to bring you into our conversation. We started this conversation 2 days ago. We were having all sorts of tech issues, so we rescheduled, and we are open to magic because technology is working really well today. So when we spoke 2 days ago, you introduced this idea of looking at things as you create from a detail perspective. And it's so refreshing to go there with you today, because we are visionaries, right? As leaders, we usually focus on these big visions. And I love that you are bringing in the idea of we get to focus on details. So let's start there.
Yeah, I think it's important, your great vision, your big vision, like your biggest perspective. Of course, that is really important to keep in mind. But when we're looking to transform, we're not going to transform through the big vision. We are going to transform through the details, right? That is really, if we change the details in our lives, well, then accumulated, these details will transform us, I believe. So if we can pay attention to the details, we have got a lot of power in how we use details in our lives, really.
Say how we use details in our lives. Say more.
We have got so many opportunities to up-level, for instance. Let's say you're thinking about yourself in the future, how you want to be, that successful woman who is having her online business, or who is making 7 figures, or whatever it is that your dream is. You're not doing it now, perhaps, but you're going to do it in the future. What is the difference between you looking into the mirror today and you in the future, right? And what can you do today to look more like the woman that you're going to have to become to be that successful woman, right? If you already were her, you would already be her, and you'd already be experiencing your success. So how you look is so important, because I know that people are very much into what impressions they give to others, right? But what are you really telling yourself about yourself? So this is through attention to detail. I mean, when you get up in the morning, you put on your sweatpants, you put on an old t-shirt, and you don't look good because you're working from home, say, so you don't need to make the effort, right? But you are there all the time. You are watching, you are feeling, and you are seeing, right? So you are sending the message to yourself that I'm the kind of person who wears sweatpants and an old t-shirt. Does that correspond to the image that you've got of you in the future? Or do you want to up level on that? And if so, what can you do?
This is so great, because clearly, those of you guys who have been following me, looks are important. It's not even about looks, right? But it's about the details in how am I perceiving myself, right? What am I wearing? Is my makeup on? Is my hair looking the way that I want it to? And it really is from that perspective that you just talk about, right? Like I ask myself, as a woman who's living the life that I am creating, that wants to be seen a certain way, so I can influence people, right? If I'm showing up in a way that doesn't create sense of elegance, I don't know, word elegance is really coming through, sense of elegance, sense of attention to detail, sense of respect, right? Like self-respect, right? If I'm not being that, no matter where I am in my life right now, will I then create the result that I say I want, right? So if I put my sweatpants on every day, I love that. Because I think a lot of people are in that place of, I'm going to get a better wardrobe, or I'm going to treat myself better. I'm going to, invest in a lip gloss or whatever it is, right? I'll pay attention to those things instead of reverse engineering it and showing up that way. Yeah.
Exactly. And the good thing about that is, if you reverse, as you say, if you start saying, okay, I don't have to wait to be the woman who has got that successful business happening to have nice clothes, I can actually start enjoying them today.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can actually enjoy having a really tidy bedroom today, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to wait to be a multimillionaire to do that. There's so many things we can do today that will get us so much nearer where it is we want to be. And people always tell me, oh, but I can't afford that. But it doesn't have to be expensive, right?
Yeah.
You can go into your wardrobe and get rid of all that old stuff that you don't look good in, right? We don't need 35 t-shirts. We need 2, right? You can allow yourself to pick out the 2 best t-shirts in your wardrobe and gift all the rest to somebody who wants them.
I am chuckling, Katrine, because it's like you're sitting in my closet. I have these stacks of t-shirts and I usually wear 2 or 3 of them. I haven't worn many of them in years. Guess what I'm doing this weekend? So this is so great because we're speaking in a salon from many different perspectives about the world that we are creating, right? This higher vibration reality that humanity is transforming into. And we're speaking about vibration and frequency, and we're having some conversations, which is really great, about the physical experience, right? And this is where you're bringing us. This conversation. This is how I'm seeing is taking us into the place of, we get to be in the physical presence of what we're creating, and through the details is how we start creating this. So a lot of people actually in my space have visions of creating homes. And that's just what happens, right? I'm a Taurus, maybe that's why, because I carry that, that home feeling, right? Scorpio, Taurus, all of that. So a lot of people in my tribe have a vision of creating this amazing home they want to live in, this next level home. And they're creating it through vision, which is great. What else can they do?
Well, they can start getting really practical. My vision for my next home is a chateau. Like, I live in France. I'm living in a mansion, which is already fabulous, right? But I'm gearing up to my chateau. So I ask myself, well, when I'm living in my chateau, what will it look like? What will there be? What is different from here to the chateau? So I found out that, well, actually, I think in a chateau, you would have a flower garden, because you'd be getting in fresh flowers for all the rooms all the time. Of course.
Yes.
Yeah. So I planted a flower garden, and I make a point of having fresh flowers all over the place, all the time. Not only when I'm inviting people to come, but just for me. So I am the sort of person who has fresh flowers around me, right? I am worth fresh flowers. And now that means that I can't accept being in my office without fresh flowers. So do you see how I'm up leveling all the time? If, let's say, you are used to going for a coffee in a diner, that's not very nice. Well, maybe you want to consider the future person that I'm being. Does she go here, or would she go somewhere else? Right? So you're always asking yourself, am I tolerating this? Is this really the best that is available to me? Or could I go one up?
Yeah.
So that is what is so enjoyable to me in life, is always to ask myself, how can this be even better? Even better than this, right? My life is already fabulous. How can it be even better? How can I allow it to be just a tiny little bit better? Can my coffee be even nicer? Can I have even nicer flowers? Can I have more flowers? Can I arrange them more beautifully? I mean, what can I do all the time? And what happens when I'm doing that is that I get to experience it now. I'm not putting it into the future, right? I'm not saying when I have my shatter, I will have lots of fresh flowers. I'm having them now.
Yeah. So great. So again, it brings me back to this idea of we're creating a new experience for humanity. And many of us have a different version of what it's going to look like for each of us. Some of us want a lot more. And I know I attract a lot of those people who want to live in their gifts, who want to serve in a certain way, right? And they're asking themselves the question of how do I do that, right? And even bringing in, there is just such a high vibration to what you're sharing. You can have flowers that you're staring at when you are at your desk or in your space where you are creating experiences for people. And just that alone raises your frequency and your vibration. And it starts creating the next version of who you are, right?
I think it's about gifting yourself really a lot of opportunities to see how worthy you are, because we often hold ourselves back really because we think, oh, well, no, I mean, I can't just put flowers out just for myself, right? I need that to be more people, right? I can't just do that for myself. And when you get used to doing all that just for yourself, wow, well, then that becomes so natural. It becomes a habit. And just think of how you interact with other people from that worthiness space, from that space where you're not just thinking in the future, I will merit this, in the future, I can have that. You're actually having it right now. You're no longer on the same level, right? And you're interacting with people on a different level, and they will be able to see you as you really are, right? Because we teach other people how we want them to treat us. So whatever we are emanating, they're going to pick up on, and that is how they're going to view us, isn't it?
This is so great because you're making it tangible, even the self-worth conversation, right? Which a lot of people who are in the love and light community, the healers, the artists, no matter where we came from, even we came from corporate success, shifting into, new way of being in the world, leading and thriving as an awakened leader, and having a conversation of being worthy of a certain experience, being worthy of a certain level of client, right? Being worthy of a certain amount of money coming in so we can put it back into the world in a different way. Like that's the conversation we're in. And I love that you are making it. There is just, I hope that you guys, as you're watching, you're tuning into this really sweet and rich energy that you, Katrine, bring in, because as you share it in this elegant way, and they seem like simple things, right? Flowers, better cup of coffee, right? Whatever it is, it doesn't even have to be, plant a garden and bring the flowers inside, right? Wear your best sweater on Monday. Don't wait till the birthday party, right? It's these simple ways that we can do right now that raise the vibration of who we are, and then have the people who are attracted to it, because that's how I'm hearing it, showing up, right? So the higher frequency client, the higher frequency collaboration, right?
Yeah, you're attracting people like you. So if you're wearing your sweatpants and your t-shirt, well, those are the kinds of people you will be having in your life, right?
Yeah.
If you dress for your future, often we talk about dressing for your next job, right?
Yeah, right.
So we can transfer that into our lives, into our private lives. Like, what do you wear in bed? I think that is so telling of what you think about yourself, right? You get dressed up for yourself in bed, whether you've got a partner or not, but you can actually dress for bed, can't you?
Yes.
You can wear jewelry to bed.
Okay, well, I wear not these earrings, but I do have a pair of earrings that I sleep in usually. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Wow. Even taking it down to that granular level of what do you wear to sleep? Because we think of comfort, right? And comfort, there are so many comfortable, elegant ways. And then going to sleep, right? So, okay, I'm gonna tie it into the rest of the conversation we're having in a salon. So we're speaking about routines and rituals that we go to sleep and we start thinking about what we want to create before we go to sleep. We are in that in-between dream, right? The dream space and the physical space. And we are starting to envision, great, what do I want my life to look like so we can go into the dream space with a higher vibration. What we wear while we go into that state can and will increase what it is that we are stepping into when we go into dream space.
Well, and I think we are making things believable or not, right?
Ooh.
If you're sleeping in IKEA bed linen,
Yeah.
well, it's really difficult to imagine that I will soon be sleeping in the most elegant silk. And, you know, the more your surroundings are believable to you, you're going to create the same things. So if you want really, I like luxury, I like opulence, right?
Yes.
So the more I have that around me, the more I surround myself with those elements, well, the more natural they become to me, right? The more naturally I will surround myself with this. My friends will be people who've got perhaps not the same taste, but at least the same intention of living that kind of life. So I think if you're going to sleep in your bed is beautiful, your bed is soft, your bed has got only the best bed linen, you're wearing the most ravishing nightgown or whatever you wear for sleeping. If you don't wear anything, well, why don't you just wear a perfume? Like Marilyn Monroe said, what do you wear to bed? And she said Chanel 5, number 5. So, I mean, of course, that was a joke, but what are you wearing, right? So the more it is what you want to be experiencing in the future, the easier it is for your subconscious to start believing it, right? And the more natural it becomes for you. And I think the more, as you say, you're attracting all that goodness to you.
Yeah, it is definitely a conversation about embodying that future self, right? By having the tangible physical experience, the details of it right now in the space. So as leaders, right? And that's who we're speaking to, leaders leading and thriving right now. How do you, and I'm going to ask it in a way that hopefully it serves. There is a lot of conversation that people have about how can I get into a higher vibration conversation about power, about opulence and about luxury when there is so much happening in the world, right? And people are quote unquote suffering, and I put it in quotes for a reason. And there is just so much happening that's not desirable. How can I get myself into even allowing myself to be in that conversation?
Yeah, I love that question, right? Of course, there is what we could call suffering in the world, and we can choose to focus on that. If we want more suffering, we can focus on suffering.
Well said. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's really, to me, a choice. And obviously you can train yourself to focus on suffering or focusing on joy. It begins with a choice, right? So I am aware of people not having enough to eat. I am aware that we have got a virus in the world at the moment. I'm aware of all these things. People are living through wars. Lots of things are happening. I am aware, but I'm not focusing on it. And I don't think we are helping these people by focusing on it, because the more we focus on what we don't want, well, the more we create of it, don't we, in the collective consciousness. So I think really the most useful thing we can do is to make sure that we focus on what is positive, what we want more of in the world. So instead of focusing on what we see as suffering, let's focus on how we can be kinder, how we can be more loving, how we can create more of all that good stuff, like opulence. If I'm very rich, well, it doesn't take anything away from you, does it, Anna? You can be very rich with me. Riches are created every day. It's like love. It's an unlimited resource. The more we create, the more there is. It's not a sum total, and it's not if I have got a lot of money, it means that you haven't got any. Right? We can both have lots of money. We can both have lots of love. We can both have so many things. You can have a chateau. I can have a chateau, right? There's enough for everybody. There really is, because money is just a concept, really, right? And with money, we can buy all those gorgeous things we want, right? So that's why we want the money. We don't want the money to sit there and count it, right? Oh, I don't. I think most of us don't want to sit there.
I like using it, right? I like using it. Yeah, circulating it. Yeah, what it
Yeah,
was meant for.
exactly. If I go and buy a designer outfit, that means, well, I'm parting with my money to give it to somebody else who can
Hmm.
then create something else, and they can create something else. And it's how we've
Hmm.
set up our world, right?
Yeah.
So I think the more we create, whether it be products in our businesses, or whether it be money, or it be beauty, or it be bed linen, I
Hmm.
think the more there is to go
Yes.
around.
Yeah. So great. Thank you for playing with that question with me, because that's where you went with it is exactly what I wanted to, my intention was to convey to our audience, right? I love what Abraham Hicks says, you can never get broke enough to help poor people. And the way you just answered, right? Like the way you just answered it is so beautiful, because in my perspective, the higher we raise our consciousness around wealth, right? Success, luxury, beauty, and everybody will have different definition of that. But the more that we focus on that and bring it into the world, the more of it is available for other people to step into, see it as an example and say, oh, I could just start focusing on that and have more of that in life through me in the world.
Beautifully put, yeah. And
Yeah.
what you just said reminded me of health too, because like many people have cancer. Yeah. So I could be sitting here thinking, oh, wow, that's so sad people have cancer. It
Mhm.
won't help them, will it?
No.
Right. I can't be sick enough to help people who've got cancer, right?
Mhm.
Health is available. The more the healthier I am, the healthier
Yeah.
you are, the more
Mhm.
health there is in the world. We are not helping people by depriving ourselves, I
Mhm.
don't think, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
won't serve.
Yeah.
I mean, if I am knowledgeable, I'm not taking away knowledge from you. I mean, it's unending. It's
Oh.
out there. Yeah.
That's so great, Katrine. So, oh my gosh, I love that you said that, because people, I think most people can grasp that knowledge is limitless. And if you know something, it doesn't mean it takes the knowledge away from me. I can know the same thing, and now there is more of that knowledge in the world. That is, that is such a great, hopefully this landed for you guys, because it gave me a new way of explaining that. Because with health and with money, there is a lot of emotion attached to it, right? So people we get like attached to like, oh no, but it's limited, right? Like, I want to help the suffering. But with knowledge, we don't have, I don't think most of us have that emotion. And we can buy into the idea that two people can know the same thing. And it doesn't mean there is less of it. It's actually now more of it because two people know of it, right? And if they
Exactly.
share it with a third person, then there is that much more of that knowledge because now the third person knows it. Money and health is like that. Luxury is like that in my perspective, right?
Exactly. You put it so beautifully. And that is really true. We are emotionally attached to money
Mhm.
because maybe at some point in our lives we didn't have any. We have
Yeah,
been told there's only so much,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You can only have so much, or other people have it, you don't. We've got all these emotions attached to it,
Mhm.
and it really prevents us from seeing money for what it is. And I mean, governments print money every day, I suppose, so
They do.
it's out there.
They do. It's sometimes so ridiculous when the governments declare how much deficit they are in, how much debt they are in. I'm like, I don't understand. Where is the money if everybody's in debt, right? As governments. So it's just so funny to me. It's all a concept. So I really appreciate you bringing it knowledge as a way to explain that the more that we allow ourselves to have it, the more of it is in the world. And then taking that concept and bringing it back to the details. Great, right? Because that's the conversation that we are having, and that's where we started. How much can you change the details or bring in the details of the life you want to create into your life right now? So simple things, right? Like I'm looking around me and I'm like, wow, I love writing with these pens. But a couple of weeks ago, I walked by a store that had it's a store for writers, and they have beautiful paper and cards, and they have fountain pens. And I've wanted a fountain pen for a longest time. I used to have one when I was in Poland many, many years ago, because fountain pens were the thing, right? They're elegant, right? To me, they're elegant, and they have this luxurious feeling when we write. And I was like, one day I'm going to get a fountain pen. I think I'm going to get it this weekend.
Right. And that is what I call up leveling all the time. The more you up level in everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And of course, you can't revamp your whole life, but just choose one area. Maybe you want to change your mugs for elegant cups and saucers,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Maybe you want to change your dinner service. Maybe you want to get rid of some of your clothes,
Mm-hmm.
because I think we don't need a lot of stuff, but we need to be very vigilant on what stuff we let into our experience,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
And then we need to say, no, thank you. I'm no longer tolerating that. Like, I'm no longer tolerating mess in my house. I don't want it. I want everything to be like tidy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it is. It's normal for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So great.
And
yeah.
It doesn't cost any money to be tidy, does it?
You know what came just to, as we wrap up, you know what just came in? A very practical, and it's going to serve somebody because I can sense it. You know how some people, when they drive their car, they tend to run their tank to the all the way to the low, right? And very often maybe run out of gas. That's a toleration. I love you brought that in. That's something somebody tolerates. And I, a while ago, switched that I will never be below the quarter of a tank in my car. So as soon as I hit the quarter of a tank, I'll have my car refueled, right? Simple thing, something that's simple, it all of a sudden up-leveled my standards in what I allow in my life or not. I never get all the way to the bottom of anything. There is always enough to get to wherever I need to go because I always have at least quarter tank of gas. And usually I fill it up even when I'm at half. Somebody needs to hear that. If you, I don't know why, but it's this detail, right?
It's completely that. And I like that for everywhere in my house. I like there to be lots of food in my fridge. I like my cupboard to be well stocked. I like to meet that abundance everywhere, right? In my car, right? In my cupboards, wherever. And I'm always saying, well, I'm feeling into, if there's something I'm not enjoying, like the other day, I was getting into my car and it didn't feel good. And I said, well, what's not feeling good here? And it was dirty on the outside, right? We've been having dreadful weather and it was dirty and I couldn't enjoy that. So I'm saying, no, I'm not doing this, right? I'm saying, no, this is not my optimal experience. Thank you, but no, thank you. I can do better, right? I'm worth more than this. I'm not getting into a dirty car. It's not me. I don't identify with that person, right?
Yes. Oh, this is so great, Katrine. I love that you brought this tangible way, and as simple as it seems, it's just so palpable and tangible in how we can raise the standards that we allow ourselves to live based on in our life, so we can raise the frequency for everybody, starting with ourselves. So amazing. Oh, I love it. Delightful to have you in a salon. I know that you have a gift for our audience. Would you mind sharing what it is?
Well, I would like, as we're talking to women and women being leaders, I'm a feminist, right? So you can think about that what you want. I think that we have been often told to play down our superpowers because they were inconvenient for other people. So I've designed a quiz where you can find out what your superpower is, and it could be something that other people don't like, or it could be something that you don't like. But you can learn to use it to your advantage. So that is really what it is about, finding out how you can use all of who you are to your advantage. So it's a quiz called Dare Be Feminine.
Ooh, Dare Be Feminine. Ooh, I love that. So good. So you guys know the button below this video, go claim the gift, take the quiz, and Dare Be Feminine. And I know there are some men watching. I know there is always some men that sneak into the salon because they just feel like they belong, and you do. Take the quiz anyway, because we all carry feminine and masculine, right? And the gifts that we possess that are the feminine could be embodied in a masculine form as well. So take the quiz, find out how to dare be the feminine. Oh, I love that. Dare be feminine. So great. Thank you so much, Katrine. As we wrap up our delightful conversation and so filled with so many practical things. So, okay, I have a dare for all of you guys. Speaking of dare, go and look around your space And whether it's your workspace or the space you sleep in, pick one space in your environment and ask yourself, what can I upgrade right now? And then share with us. Reply to the email, go into the Facebook group and share what is this one thing that you right now are going to upgrade in whatever space you choose. Just one space, one thing, upgrade and tell us. Oh, that's going to be fun to see. So, Katrine, I have one question for every speaker in this particular edition of the Salon, and I'd love to ask you that question. What is your vision for the world we are creating?
I think we're all up leveling, aren't we? Or many of us are. And I think the more we are who up level, it's like with the knowledge. The more knowledge there is, the more people who up level. I think the more hope we create for our planet and for humanity, the greater it is. And I really feel that we are in this era where people are becoming more and more conscious. We are daring to say no to some of the things from the past that are no longer serving us, even if in the past they did. I think we are feeling more and more courageous, allowing ourselves to say no so that we can say yes to so much more. And I feel all this is happening now.
Yes. Oh, I felt it. I felt it. So beautiful. We are all up leveling, one detail at a time. I love that. Thank you again, Katrine, for being in the salon and the delightful conversation that you brought into our space and showing us how we can right now bring our future into the present with simple details that could make a huge change. Thank you for being here in the salon.
Thank you, Anna. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
So wonderful. And we'll see you at the next conversation. Bye for now, and make sure to take the quiz. Dare be feminine. Bye.